Hello, and welcome to my channel. Hey everyone, welcome back to Andrew's Wizardly Reads, and today I am going to be doing another tag video. But before we get into the tag, make sure to like and subscribe and hit the bell notification so that you can get regular updates from when I post new bookish content. I post every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. That said, let's get on into the tag. Now this is a tag that I was specifically tagged in by the book buds, Mary and Joe. And I am super late in getting to this tag. They tagged me like a month ago, or it's been like 3 to 4 weeks. So I'm finally getting to it. I've just had so much on my plate with the channel, but I am super excited to do this. This tag is going to be the spoiler tag. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into the tag. Now, number 1 is going to be the first prompt. What do I consider a spoiler? Now, I'm kind of an interesting person when it comes to spoilers. I don't tend to mind having something spoiled for me per se. If I really want to know something, I want to know. So basically, if I ask you to give me a spoiler, I want you to give me the spoiler. I wouldn't ask you if I didn't want to know. Now, that said, I do not spoil books for other people. If I can help it. Like, if I get super excited and let something slip, I will apologize profusely. But typically, if I have a spoiler in a non-spoiler review, I'll go ahead and edit that out. Especially because I don't want to ruin somebody's experience. But what do I consider a spoiler would basically be anything that gives away a serious plot point, or a twist, or like a specific event. Anything of that nature would be considered a spoiler for me. Like, does this person die? Does this person live? Does this city fall? Does this siege happen? Things of that nature are sort of spoilery. So that would be what I consider a spoiler. Number 2, does the genre I'm reading impact what I consider to be a spoiler? No. Well, no, not really. Like, well, don't get me wrong. Like, if I'm reading a thriller or a mystery or an adventure novel, and I have like major plot points spoiled, then I would probably consider the book to be ruined. So I would consider that a major spoiler. Meanwhile, in fantasy, I'm less likely to be angry about it unless it was something that was mind-blowing. And if it was something mind-blowing and it got spoiled for me, then I would tend to be a bit on the salty side about that. So yes and no. Typically for, anything non-fantasy, I would consider that major spoilers. Moving right along to the third question. Do I research a book before I read it, or do I go in blind? So I do watch a lot of BookTube content. So I don't know if you would consider that research. A lot of my recommendations have either come out of my Discord or from BookTube. So yes, I do research, but sometimes I do like to just read a brief synopsis and then buy a book. Now, if I'm doing that, it's going to be like off of my Kindle. So it's going to be a cheaper book. Usually I will do that with Kindle Unlimited books. I'm more willing to take a risk from the $1.99 to the $3.99 price point. For anything that's like hardcover, I do need to at least do a little bit of research and talk to some people about it before I make that sort of investment. Because if I make a blind investment in a brand new hardcover and I don't like it, and I could have easily looked at the synopsis and realized, oh, this isn't something for me, then that's just money down the drain, and that just doesn't make good financial sense. So yes, I do some research. Number 4, let's see. Sometimes an intro spoils the book. Has this happened to you? Now, I'm assuming this is the intro, like the prologue or something like that. And I don't think so. I've been able to guess the end of a book to the point where I wasn't really surprised. Usually that can happen anywhere from 30% to halfway. Typically, if that happens, I'm not really too upset about it unless I was really excited about the book. But if it does happen, then a lot of the times that is a series that I would end up DNFing. specifically because it isn't. It wouldn't be in depth enough or intriguing enough for me to continue, because I occasionally do like to be surprised, confused, befuddled, and just all around hoodwinked. So if a book can hoodwink me, then I'm in a good place. Number 5. Name a time somebody spoiled a book for you. Somebody spoiled a book for me. Like I said, it's kind of hard because a lot of the times I'm the type of person who will ask for a spoiler. Recently, I was reading Broken Empire, Emperor of Thorns, and there was a scene in there that if something had happened, I was immediately going to quit the book. It was just a theme that I was not okay with taking in, and so I put out to some people that I trust, hey, does this happen? And they're like, do you really want to know? And I said, yes, I have to know, because if it happens, then I don't want to continue reading the book. And it was a theme that I wasn't really okay with where I'm at in my life. And so at that time, I asked for a spoiler, and they said, no, it doesn't happen, and so I moved on. Let's see. Number 6, have I spoiled for someone else? Yes. Yes, I have. I tend to get very, very excited when talking about books, and I have a lot of friends who just don't read. They just don't. My best friend actually just doesn't really have the attention span for reading. He does like to listen to the occasional audiobook when he's like busy or something like that. But we used to work in a gas station together, and I pretty much told him the entire story of The Wheel of Time, start to end. And that's what we would do on shift, is I would just sit there and I would talk about The Wheel of Time. From characters, relationships, deaths, betrayals, plot points, old history, lore, you name it, I talked about it with him. So yes, I have spoiled a series for somebody. Now granted, he was never going to read that series. So it's a little bit of give and take. Alright, moving on to the next one. If spoilers ruin novels, are there authors you can't read anymore? No. No, typically if I'm getting a spoiler, a lot of the times for me, a spoiler excites me and will push me through a book. Depending on the level of the spoiler. I'm a very weird individual. I do not go around spoiling books for people, but sometimes I do like to be enticed a little bit further through the book. A lot of the times, I'll ask questions of, hey, does this get better? Or, hey, is there something I can look forward to pull me out of this slump in a book? And a lot of time people will give me a tidbit to kind of pull me through. And I've DNF'd series before and authors, but I've never done so off of a spoiler, so I'm gonna go with no there. And the last question, do you review spoiler free, and does this limit you? For the most part, I do spoiler free. A lot of the times I do kind of skirt the edge of spoiler territory sometimes. But as far as limiting, well, yeah, I mean, a spoiler-free review is in itself limiting. It is meant to entice somebody into reading a book. If I'm going to do a spoiler review, I'll go ahead and tag the video a spoiler review. But, I mean, non-spoiler reviews are in themselves limited because they are meant to entice somebody and inform somebody on a book and whether or not the themes in that book or either entice them or sound interesting enough for them to go out and pick it up, either on ebook, library, or purchase the book. So, yes, I do say spoiler-free is limiting, but that's by design, and it is not a bad thing. So, that is all 8 prompts, and I was tagged in this video, so I'm going to go ahead and re-tag. I'm going to tag Rose over at Rose K Reads, Raul over at Raul Reads, and I'm going to also tag somebody who's just come to my attention, Epic from EpicTalz. So that is the spoiler tag. Go ahead and check the description down below for all prompts if you want to do this tag yourself. or if you want to see the link down to the Discord, it's always down in the description below. Till next time, stay magical. Peace out. Bye.